So today I'm going to share the top 4 programming languages that I think you should learn in 2020. Okay, so here's what I'll do. I'll go through 4 programming languages, and the first one will be the language that I think you should learn if you are a beginner. And the second one will be the language that I think is the most useful language to learn. And the third one will be the language to learn if you are looking for a new challenge. And lastly, the fourth one will be the language of the future. So I'm Sarvesh and you're watching Sarvesh YouTube channel. Come on, let's start with the language number 1. Let's get straight into it. The first one, which is the language that I think you should learn as a beginner, which is Java. Java is such a staple, is kind of like the breakfast of languages. It's the one that I always recommend that you start with. And when I got started, I didn't actually want to learn Java. I was kind of against it. It felt like Java was an old language and kind of outdated. And I didn't even want to look into that direction. But that was just really stupid of me, babe. I realized how awesome Java actually is. Like I said, it's the perfect foundational language. Learning Java will set you up so well to be able to pick up other languages with ease. Plus, there are tons of free resources available to learn from it. And it has certain features like type safety that I think are really good to learn as a beginner. And if you learn Java, you can easily cope up to learn all the other languages. Okay, now let's move on to the most useful language. In my opinion, Python. Python is a fast language to write because the syntax is very scaled down, so you don't need to type as many characters to get the job done. It's what I would call a productivity language. I love to automate things using Python. It's really good for getting something simple up and running fast. It's a really fun language to work with. It's perfect for automating different tasks on the computer. Python is also commonly used in the field of AI. So there is tons of different libraries available for things like deep learning and machine learning. So it's a super useful language and I really recommend it. Now let's move on to a language to learn if you are more intermediate and looking for a bit of challenge. C++. This is a workhorse of the language, and if you don't know this one already, then it's a great new challenge to get into forever. Now, it's also a bit of dreaded language because when you're writing code in C++, you have to worry about memory allocation, and that's something that you don't really have to worry about with any of the previous languages that I mentioned. It's a language that's widely used in areas where speed and efficiency are highly valued, and if you learn this language, then you will definitely be able to find a job, for instance, in interesting industries like AI or even SpaceX. Now, for the fourth recommendation, which is what I believe to be the language of the future, Dart. This is, in my opinion, the language of the future in terms of mobile app development. I'm probably biased because I love to develop apps and Flutter, but I genuinely believe that Dart and Flutter has the potential to take over a lot of app development in the future because it's simple, way cheaper for a company to just hire one team of Dart engineers to work in Flutter instead of two teams, one for iOS and one for Android. But also, if you are thinking about starting your own company by building an app, it will be way easier for you to get your app built and released on Android platform and iOS because you only have to do the work of writing the app at once, and I think that's where the biggest benefit lies in being able to create a quality app as a single individual and then release it to both iOS and Android all from within a single code base. But I think one of the main fears with using a cross-platform framework like Flutter and Dart is that you will have a slower app that will have lesser user experience, but I have noticed no such compromises when using Flutter to develop apps. So for me, it's no brainer. Alright, so I actually want to give you a fifth language that I would recommend if you want to get into web development, and this one is a bonus language, and that is JavaScript. Okay, so to be fair, JavaScript is a great language to learn, but if you are gonna learn JavaScript, I suggest learning HTML and CSS as well, because without HTML and CSS, I don't believe JavaScript is really nothing special. However, these three in conjunction are, in my opinion, the best web development kit that you'll find right now. It's also pretty much foundation of all websites that you see out there. So if you are looking to get into web development, then JavaScript is the clear winner. So that's one. That's the last one for you. And now these are just my recommendations. They are based on some research, but also my opinions in general. So just to keep that in mind, and also if you are worrying about like what language to pick as your first one, then don't worry about that because it doesn't really matter. Just pick one that you are interested in and that you feel like learning, because once you have learned one, you will be able to pick up pretty much easily any other language without much effort. Alright, that's it for this one. I hope this was useful for you and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I'll see you next one. Do like, share and subscribe and hit that bell icon right below to get notifications first from my channel. Like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sarvesh signing off from Sarvesh YouTube channel. Bye.